day, everybody. This is Yin Yang in California with Morsels of a Thought number 1479. Today we are in a relationship book on a Sunday series, a national bestseller, Discover the Universal Rhythms for Leading Prosperous Relationships. The R Factor, Evolving Our Human Relationship Story by Ken Ashby and Maris Segal. Page 119. We are in chapter 10 on acceptance. So, on the drive to work one morning, Mindy and her dad were talking. I'm so grateful for you and Mom, and I wish I didn't have to impose on you anymore, Dad. You know how much I hate not being able to do what I need to do on my own, Mindy said. Oh, I know that well, Mindy, he replied. Dad, I've also learned that there are times when we get to accept the fact that there are things that are beyond our control. And I've found that we can always learn from them, she shared. Exactly, her dad replied. It might do you some good to look at your circumstances differently. This is something you get to do to heal inside and out. You owe that to yourself and to Rose. Rose is her daughter. Take this as a sign that change in your life is inevitable. Now we're here. I don't ever want to be a burden, and I can't stand not being able to do everything I need to do at home or at work. I am learning, though, to accept where I am and the support that is authentically offered. Well, that's huge progress. Tell me, Mindy, do you still love your job? I mean, really love it? Like, you can't wait to get up and go to work every day? He asked with genuine curiosity. Sure I do, she answered without a hint of hesitation. The last time she was asked this question by her friend, Jamie, her reply was sincere when she said yes. This time, though, when she heard herself, she wondered who she was trying to convince, her dad or herself. The truth was that Mindy did have her own doubts. It all started when she'd been home recovering for a month and returned to the office for the first time since suffering her illness. Everyone welcomed her back and expressed concern for her, but she noticed there was something lacking. The concern wasn't personal. It was polite and professional, something Mindy had always encouraged in the workplace, but for the first time, she found it to be superficial and lacking in compassion. It occurred to her that she'd worked with her team for years, but they didn't really know her, or vice versa. She had intentionally avoided personal conversations that revealed any details about her life away from the office. But now she noticed the relationships her coworkers had with each other, and that made her feel alone, even when she was among them. She questioned herself. What if she had been wrong? What was the point of building a wall around herself when, in fact, they were all in it together on a mission to succeed? She'd built that wall to protect herself, but in doing so had kept something more important out of her life: meaningful, connected relationships and a sense of camaraderie. And then she also realized that she wasn't indispensable. Not only was the company surviving fine without her, but she wondered if she was even missed. For years, she had told herself that she didn't need anyone or anything. She could do it all. But now she wondered if it was worth the price she'd paid. On the evening of the day she first returned to work, Mindy was disturbed by her revelation. Unable to sleep, she once again listened to her audiobook, Universal Relationship Rhythms. The book had become her go-to, and like she had done several times, she fast-forwarded to a particular section of interest. This time, she chose reframing, capital R. The first time she had listened to it, it hadn't hit home, but this time she grasped the meaning when the narrator talked about the need to reframe to reclaim what one wants. Her aha moment was that this was all happening for her and an opportunity was presenting itself. She had a choice to make, to stay bold and cold or step into a thriving life with meaningful connections. On her second week back, Mindy gathered her team in the large conference room. There were plenty of oohs and ahs as they marveled at the breakfast spread and beautifully wrapped gifts at each spot on the table. Inside was a handcrafted microphone statue with a plaque at the base that was personalized to each team member and an inscription that read, Team, capital T, capital E, capital A, capital M. It's a new day with gratitude, comma, Mindy, M-I-N-D-I. She recognized each person for their contribution and support and thanked them for rising to the occasion in all ways, making sure they knew how much she appreciated them and was proud of them. It felt good to be able to give herself permission to commend her team, and they too shared their gratitude. The buzz around the office that afternoon was a far different energy than in the past, and it felt good to everyone. It occurred to Mindy that her parents were right. She had gone to great lengths to protect herself from being hurt to the extent that she hadn't allowed herself to entertain the possibility of being happy. It was then that Mindy fully accepted the fact that the life she had created might not be the one she really wanted for the long term. Her drive, persistence, grit, and know-how had served her well to this point, and it had helped her become a recognized and accomplished award-winning concert producer. But it wasn't enough now. For the first time, she wanted more and trusted that it was possible. There was just one problem. She wasn't clear about what she wanted, and she intended to find out. Now we are in chapter 11. Perspective. A perspective stalled by the past limits the present. I'll read that again. A perspective stalled by the past limits the present. So much so, so seriously so. It really does. I think that I lived that way myself. This is yin yang talking. And I've only really discovered a new perspective recently. For 1,479 consecutive days, my point in giving you morsels of a thought every morning is to get you to have a great day. And preferably, when we know what to do, that's called wisdom. And when we do it, that's called virtue. And so I want to entertain, but I also want to educate, and I want to impart something good, and I want to inspire you. So here we are. And and it's been 1,479 episodes, and I have never really said it much. Please like and subscribe to me on YouTube at YingOrange99. And I promise you, I will keep on doing morsels of the thought of wisdom. I'm so glad you're seeing things differently and gaining a new perspective. It's no secret that we've been really worried about you, Mindy, her mother said. While we are proud of your accomplishments, it has saddened us that you are so driven and might not ever let yourself enjoy life or let love into your life. You know that the bond your father and I have and the love we have for you and Rose are the most important things in our lives. You deserve to have that in your life too. It's good to be successful and independent, and those things are just a slice of your life and not enough, her mother said. I'm clear about that now, Mindy assured. Knowing that you're doing something that is meaningful and that brings you joy is priceless. A paycheck can't give you that. And there's also the opportunity to know that you're making a difference in people's lives, whether it's within your own family, community, or in your career. That is one of the most rewarding feelings you can have. It's one reason why I volunteer at the women's shelter, her mom explained. Oh, I thought you did that because of what happened to me, Mindy replied. Initially, I did, and then I found that it made me feel good to know that I was helping others, that I could support women as they pick themselves up and make a fresh start, her mom shared. Well, Mom, I hate to say you're right, Mindy smiled, but lately I've been considering submitting my resignation. I guess you could say that by not being able to see well, I've suddenly started to see things much more clearly. It's occurred to me it's occurred to me that there's something more out there for me. I just don't know yet what it is. I do know, though, that I haven't found it where I am. I'm really proud of you for considering what could be next, Mindy. That said, I can't tell you what that might be. Only you can do that. But I do think it might help if you expose yourself to new experiences and people. Heaven knows you're not going to find what's missing sitting here day after day, her mom said. Then, after a pause, she excitedly added, Hey, I have an idea. If you're serious about resigning, let's take that road trip. Your father and I have been waiting until the time is right. We didn't want to leave you and Rose when you needed us, but if you're not working, it's the perfect opportunity for you and Rose to come with us. We'll have such fun, and it just might help you get clear on what you really want and create a new vision for your future. After reviewing her finances over the next week and factoring in the bonus of nearly 3 months of accrued vacation time, Mindy took a giant leap into trust. The next week, she penned and submitted her resignation while also recommending her replacement. Liz has proven herself and her value to the organization. Above all, she has built solid relationships that invite collaboration and cooperation within the team and those we serve. I highly recommend her as my replacement and know she will bring a fresh perspective to the role and the industry as a whole. The surprise party they held for Mindy was warm, joyful, and emotional. She was acknowledged and celebrated by all. It was bittersweet as she was leaving behind a cohesive team and stepping into a new part of her journey. Rich read in an online music trade magazine that Mindy had been recovering from an accident and had recently resigned her position. Concerned for her, he shot her a quick text. Hi, Mindy. Long time no talk. Just saw your announcement. Wishing you well! Exclamation point. He did not receive a reply. A few weeks later, Mindy and Rose began their cross-country trip with her parents in their new RV. Seeing the sights from the road was a novelty for Mindy, who usually traveled from one airport to another. Her father wasn't one for interstates. He preferred to visit small towns where he could explore historic landmarks and experience the local lifestyle and culture. It was both educational and enlightening. They were all having a blast. Camping was new and fun. They visited village festivals and celebrations and enjoyed the cuisines from across the cultures that U.S. towns offered at different stops along the way. It was a new perspective of a world that Mindy had always known was out there, but had never paused to experience. Her former daily rush of hundreds of emails slowed to a mere few personal notes from colleagues, and there were no late night calls. Mindy felt so free. It was a visit to an Indian reservation that in the Southwest that had a profound impact on her. After a guided tour, they were invited to view the impressive handicrafts, ceramics, and carvings made by the community artisans ranging in age from 8 to 90. As a special treat, they witnessed the culture exhibited by traditional native music, dances, and ceremonial rituals. Oh, here I'm going to add something. Shane Wood, Shane Wood, is the great nephew of J.R. Taylor, who is cousins with my friend Patty Nelson. Anyway, Shane Wood, think of that name as Wood. He carves wood, and he is my Facebook friend. You can friend him on my Facebook, Yin Yang, and ask him to carve something for you Um, he doesn't do it for free, obviously, but I am paying him about $15 above for each item. I'm asking him to make some wooden tags for my cats. I'm paying him about $15 or $20 above the costs for each one. So give him an assignment. He's really good. I haven't worn the beret in 2 days, but I have two berets from him. As a special treat, they witnessed the culture exhibited by traditional native music, dances, and ceremonial rituals. The music drew her in with its story and emotion that was exemplified by a message she saw on the wall. We are all connected as humans first, and music is our great uniter. If you can't find me on Facebook as Yin Yang, look for Housecat Tracks in 3 words. Housecat.tracks. They made it 2 words, but it's facebook.com/housecat, 1 word, dot cats, 2nd word. So it's really supposed to be 3 words. But anyway. The music drew her in with its story and emotion that was exemplified by a message she saw on the wall. We are all connected as humans first, and music is our great uniter. What struck Mindy was how music is universal and so much more than entertainment. To the Native American community, it was powerful and spiritual and a way to communicate their customs and beliefs. This music had meaning and a purpose. It represented life and the relationships that they held in high value. Connecting in this way, Mindy found the experience inspirational, and she wondered, what if we could truly connect humanity through music? She also wondered what it would be like if we used music to bring people together, shed light on issues, and promote a better world. Listen to rap music, huh? Having been involved in a couple benefit concerts over the years, Mindy's mind was spinning. What if she started her own music promotion company, one that featured artists, songs, and causes that would have a positive impact on the world? At first, she shrugged it off, thinking she was crazy to dive back in again. But she kept being called back to the idea, even telling her parents, "Why not now? I know what I'm doing." Suddenly, Mindy knew exactly what she wanted to do. The answer had always been in music, but the heart-driven purpose and meaning had never been there. Now that she'd found a way to create that meaning, she felt empowered and motivated to make it happen, and she knew she was up to the challenge. First, she needed to envision the business and what it would bring to the industry and those who would benefit. Second, she knew it would never get off the ground without a business plan, funding, and she'd need a killer team, one that was on board with her vision, with the relationships and contacts to make it happen. In the meantime, Rich was in Arizona, where he was helping his father settle in at his sister's house. It was a permanent move that the entire family agreed on, and he wouldn't let his father make it without him. More than anything, he wanted to make sure his father had the best care he could get, and while he knew Terry loved their dad, he couldn't help but feel the need to be needed as well. Rich initially had reservations about spending a lot of time with the twins. For years, their communications had been limited to impersonal happy birthdays and the regular inquiry into how their father was doing and whether he needed anything. As an uncle, though, Rich had always remembered Terry's children on their birthdays and holidays, making sure he sent a card with an amount of money equivalent to their birthday age plus $5 for good luck. It was easier than buying a gift, given he had never spent an extensive amount of time with them and didn't know a great deal about them. The kids, though, were fond of Uncle Rich and enjoyed getting a special present from him and the postcards they received from his travels. So, while Rich's reasons for going to Arizona stemmed around his father, he also found he enjoyed the chance to get to know his niece and nephew better. Unlike his relationship with Tim and Terry, Terri, his relationship with them wasn't stilted and weighted by their past. It was simply a time to get to know each other, whether they were being silly, playing catch, or asking Uncle Rich to tuck them into bed at night. Terry even commended him. Terry even commended him for his connection with her kids. Rich, it's nice having you around. I know the kids are really enjoying spending time with you, she said. I'm enjoying them too. They're great, Rich acknowledged. What happened? She asked. Why did we drift apart? Taken aback by the question, Rich paused before answering, even though he was more open now to talking than he had been when they were first dealing with their dad's heart attack months prior. I don't know. I guess when we were younger, it was the age gap, and then you and Tim always had each other. I was just the big brother who wanted to be there for you. Then you went off to college together, and we started to lose touch, he said, shrugging his shoulders. I hear you, Terry said. Maybe this is a chance for us to start over. While Rich found it difficult to step back and let his siblings step up and take care of their dad, he owed it to his dad and himself to make an effort. And he had to admit, Tim and Terry were pretty cool and very welcoming, and his dad loved Arizona and being with his grandchildren. One day, his siblings surprised him by asking him to play some songs for the kids. Did you know Uncle Rich is a musician? He writes his own songs. Maybe he'll play some of them for you, Tim said. Nah, you guys don't want to listen to me sing, Rich argued. Yes, we do, Terry exclaimed. Yes, we do. As I recall, you're pretty good. Which brings me to ask, what's the latest with your songwriting? I was writing, Rich corrected himself, but then Dad got sick. And hey, isn't it true that some of the best songs are based on some of the toughest, most emotional experiences? This might be a great time for you to write a new song, Tim said. Tim's partner, Oscar, then spoke up. Wait a minute. There's a festival this weekend, and they're having an open mic night. Why don't you play, Rich? We'll all come and cheer you on, he said. For some reason, Rich was reluctant to play in front of his family. His father had always been safe, but he didn't want to put himself in a position to be judged by the twins. In his mind, it was better to be safe than sorry. Thanks, but I don't think so, he said. I'll pass. Come on, it'll be fun, Terry argued. And don't worry about Dad. He's doing great, and it would do him a world of good to get out, even for a short time. Think of it this way, Rich. You'd be doing Dad a favor. I'd like that, his dad said. Terry's right. A little fresh air might be nice, and a family outing, well, that would be even better. It was an unexpected perspective, but one that Rich couldn't argue. He'd do anything for his dad, and his dad knew it. Page 130. We will continue in this relationship factor, the R factor, evolving our human relationship story. This one goes to, what is that? Anyway, I love this right here. Anyway, okay, I will talk to you later. Hope you're having a good day, and make sure to friend me on Facebook as House Cat Talks, and then look for Shane Wood for since I mentioned him. Okay, old Kinderhook. Bye bye.